Welcome to Morning Infusion with Dr. V, where we are intentional about connecting you with other entrepreneurs that have overcome and want to provide value to the audience. It's Dr. V here, where our coaching program teaches nurses to work from their computers anywhere around the world, making money and owning their own time. So, Shanoria,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So we have Shanoria Walker here. She is the queen of wife coaching. So Shanoria, tell us about you. So tell us, give us a brief bio.
Well, as you said, I am Shanoria. I am the CEO and founder of the Confident One community for ladies who truly are invested in knowing and loving themselves before they love someone else. So it is true that I do help women to learn exactly what it takes to get and stay happily married without compromising on their values and settling for less than they deserve. But what's also often misunderstood, is that you don't have to be ready to get married right now for us to work with you. Because what I found is that most of my clients were actually experiencing unnecessary heartache and heartbreak, giving their energy to those who never qualified for it in the first place. So I help ladies understand exactly what they're doing to sabotage their future, understand and master all 7 segments of self-love, and live the life that they desire and deserve.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So tell me a little bit of your background. So how did you even start thinking
Mhm.
that coaching would be a thing for you?
That's really funny because I didn't know coaching was a thing until I was already doing it, and someone told me, "Hey, you're coaching, right?" And I was like, "Say what?" So I had a very traditional background and upbringing in coaching. That wasn't on the balance sheet when I was in college. Like, that wasn't an option. That wasn't a career path. But I will say that I graduated high school, went to a Black college, loved it, became a Black college queen, did ebony, all of that traveling, and was very accustomed and comfortable with being in the limelight, married fairly early, was divorced fairly quickly. And that's when things got real fun because I didn't understand how I'd arrived there. I was raised in the church. We did premarital counseling, all of that. I was praying. So I was like, how did this happen to me? It felt like I had done everything right, or what society says is right, when the truth is I was doing things oh so wrong. I was really leaning greatly in the area of self-confidence, which is what you feel about what you can do. When the truth of the matter is I had very low self-esteem, which is how you feel about you. And no one had ever really broken that down for me and helped me figure out how to level up in both areas. And what I found is that there's so many women, just like how I used to be, that are considered a professional success, killing it in the workplace, killing it in school, whatever we set our eyes to, we're doing it, but a personal mess. Personal life just really disgruntled, not understanding why there's so much arguing, why we feel so misunderstood. Why isn't he doing these things? Why doesn't he value me? Why doesn't he understand me? And what I realized through my own journey of going through that terrible divorce that I thought was going to break me, but it was actually a part of the testimony, it was a part of the process. It was definitely refining. Going back to school again, getting other master's degrees, really starting to study marriage and family therapy, get deep into psychotherapy and neurotransformational coaching, and then getting certified as an elite neurotransformational coach. So I actually became certified after I'd already been helping other couples as I worked through the things that I had learned. Um, I will tell you, it was about 5 or 7 ladies in when one of my coworkers was like, you're coaching, right? People do this full time. And then I looked into it and was like, oh, yes. And the reason I really started doing it is because, as I mentioned, I went through premarital counseling and there was a whole lot that was left to be desired. And even the dynamic, and again, I was raised in the church, love the Lord, hallelujah. And unfortunately, my opinion is that the church is falling short in this area. Premarital counseling is falling short in this area because there's a whole lot of support until you say I do. And then after you say I do, it's like nobody cares anymore. We gone. We know the love language. I got the love there. Go fight, win. It's like, no, once we actually say I do, that's when the target is on our back. That's when we need the most support. So what happens then? And that's when I got passionate about actually formalizing Confident One and working with ladies worldwide.
So before, when you went for your undergrad, what was your
Mhm.
undergrad degree in?
So my undergrad degree is in biology and pre-law.
And so then you went back for the master's once you figured out that this was the path in which you needed to go. And so,
Yes.
okay, so you started coaching.
Yeah.
And so tell me, what do you think are the places in which the premarital counseling falls short?
Number one, we never talked about our apology language. I love to say that up front. We talk about the love language, right? Is it acts of service, words of affirmation, and things like that. But what about the apology language? Because every couple is going to have conflict. You may not argue, though most do, at least until they work with me, but you still will have conflict because you have two differing individuals who are coming together to make a life. So I also need to know your apology language. I need to know when I apologize, do I need to make restitution? Do I need to show that I have regret? What's going to mean the most to you when I give you an apology so you understand that it's sincere and we can come back feeling safe and build again? That's number one. I was like, love languages are great, but I could be loving, loving, loving. But if I never really went to my partner and made right what I did when I hurt them, because I will hurt them, even if I don't mean to, inadvertently, then that's something that I felt was really falling short. Second is not focusing on self love. Many of us use the word love. Few of us understand love. Some of us understand that love is a verb, a verb, a verb, a verb. It is what you do. It is not just what you feel. Emotions are fleeting, decisions are lasting. However, it's the 7 segments of self love that I didn't hear anybody talking about. And I still don't see enough people talking about because you cannot give to someone else what you don't have for yourself.
I love that. Emotions are fleeting,
Mhm.
decisions
Are lasting.
are
Mhm.
lasting.
Mhm. Yes.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And so once you make that decision, and that was one of the things that just kind of changed the game for me too, when you understood that love is a decision. You have to make the
Mhm.
decision to love. And if you don't love, then if you don't make that decision, then you can have those emotions that are there one day and they're gonna
Mhm.
leave. They're not gonna
That's
be there
right.
all the time because there's gonna be some things that are gonna happen. Life is gonna be, as Shayna said, life is gonna be lifing.
It's gonna be
And
life.
so when it does, it's crazy. So tell me, what are some of the key components? Because you have a podcast. What is the name of the podcast?
The Romance and Real Estate Podcast, myself
And
and
so,
Eric. Mhm.
so in the romance and real estate. So what made you start a podcast? Number one.
To be honest, that was not initially my decision. I was just going along, wife coaching, life was life and doing what I do. But as you know, in the age of social media, I post a lot of videos talking, giving value. And Eric found them to be very captivating. He was like, yo, I have the First Generation Wealth Builders podcast. I'd love to do a spinoff because what you're saying, even as a man, I'm connected to, and I've never heard anybody give that much value and get that down to the point, and you're doing this for free. I can't imagine what it's like to work with you. You need more people to know about you because what you're doing is needed. And so he really just created a separate spinoff of what he was already doing. And it was born as the Romance and Real Estate Podcast. So it's myself and Eric Armstrong, who's known as the free rental property guy. And it just so happens that in a former life, I still maintain a license as a realtor in Georgia, though I don't live in Georgia anymore, but I'm still licensed in the state. Honey, I decided I was never going to be broke. So I was younger, in my younger years, I was getting whatever degree, whatever licensure, so that even if I wanted to have a midlife swing, I would have something else I could bounce into before I knew about coaching. So it just made sense that I can speak in an informed manner about real estate, but I can definitely talk about romance, which very few people talk about it at all. And so that's where it really just took off. And by putting it out there more formally and more intentionally, we've been able to bring a lot of value to thousands worldwide. It's not just in America, it's worldwide that we get those views.
I love it. I love it. So
Mhm.
now tell me, your primary target market is nursing. All
Yeah.
right. And we talked about that at Seven Figure Society. So tell me, why nursing?
So you asked me what my degree was. Initially, it was biology, right? And there was a
Uh-huh.
whole journey there. Initially, I was pre-med. Honey, I got through organic chemistry and Cal 3. I was like, I don't know. I don't know, Jesus. I don't know. I was like, I don't like this. And then I went to Meharry and I was shadowing the doctors and they were telling me all the loans. And I was calculating the V. I was like, I don't know. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna just be a medical malpractice attorney. I'm gonna protect y'all. I'm gonna help protect y'all, but I'm bowing out gracefully. So in doing that, girl, I got myself laughing. I almost forgot your question. So in doing that, I really did have the basis and the understanding of medicine. I chose not to continue, but honey, I was pretty far in by the time I said, let me move to the left. And what I found is I was attracting female physicians and nurses. I didn't initially niche to that level. I was saying, hey, I will help, women who are serious about helping themselves and aren't caught up in the hype, tired of trends, trying to do what's popular, get this high value man, and are willing to really ensure that they themselves feel high value so they can attract their same energy. None of this, what do you bring to the table? I am the table, yes, and here's why, right? So in communicating the value and the transformation we provide, nurses were just coming out the bushes, bushes, bushes. And what I realized after a few years is there was a direct correlation because I was often speaking about pouring from an empty cup, pouring from an empty cup
Mm.
and never feeling replenished. And I don't have, but it's like if you have a water bottle and you have a mug and you have this beautiful nurse, she's a water bottle, and the guy she's with is a mug. And she knows that he doesn't have the capacity to be where she is right now, but she's like, but I can help you. I can fill you up. I can pour into you. You don't have enough love. I can love you. Nobody taught you how to trust. I can show you how to trust. You don't have your own place. Okay, you can live with me. You don't have your own car. You can drive my car. And so what happens is she ends up pouring out all of that into him. He gets full. He feels great. He leaves. He leaves.
Mm.
Now he's full and he can attract women that would never look at him the same way before. So now he done lived the best life and you over here parched. You done pouring yourself out. He done left with your stuff and you mad. You better and not better. And what I realized is nurses normalize that. Why? Because you go to work tired, do long shifts, and you give and give to your patients, and there's no expectation for them to give to you back. So you've normalized
Wow.
pouring in one direction and then you go home and it just continues if you're not intentional about setting the difference between this is how I am professionally and this is how I am personally. Personally, I need reciprocity, and this is what that looks like for me. But when you're giving all day, how many nurses you know go to work still sleep? Come on now, tired,
Mm-hmm.
sleeping on your feet all day, and you know that you love your patients, and your patients love you back. They appreciate you, and you miss that what the patient can't give, your partner is required to.
I love that because for the longest time, I really didn't understand that. I didn't understand why, and there are a lot of nurses who have struggles with love. And
Yes.
so that's the reason why your target market, because I was like, what is the whole deal with nurses? And so I love that. So Lorraine Stewart said, good morning, Lorraine. And so Lorraine is a nurse too. And
Mm,
so tell us a little bit about what do you do prior to marriage? So we're going to talk prior to marriage,
yes.
okay? And then we'll talk marriage. So
Okay.
let's do prior to marriage. So tell us
Mhm.
a little bit about what is some of the things that you pour into your women prior to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have three different experiences. We have before Boaz, that's the B in the back, right? That's before Boaz, before you get married. However, all of my clients must go through before Boaz before they get to anything else. But we do also have Esther's Evolution and Marriage Makeover, which is for the couple specifically, Marriage Makeover is. So in before Boaz, there's two phases, right? Phase one is all about love and communication first, because that's one of the top things ladies ask me to help them with is I'm tired of arguing, I'm tired of fussing. What can I do? And I'm like, you actually don't have to argue at all. Like that is something that has been learned and we can unlearn that. You can communicate your truth in a loving and empowering manner without being a doormat, without arguing. So let me teach you that first, because that's usually what they want quickly. Then after that, it's like, okay, you thought that's what you wanted. Let me show you what you really need. And that's all 7 segments of self-love. So most people don't even know the 7 segments of self-love. They say they're doing focusing on self-love, loving on me, and it's all self-care. And self-care
Oh,
is great. Self-care is necessary. But 1 out of 7 is still a failure. But according to my calculator, we still not winning. right? So if we're going to talk about really having that self meter so high that we can pour from our abundance and not feel like we're parched and dry, we need to get serious about what it means to love ourselves. And that includes self-awareness, that includes self-exploration, it includes self-esteem, it does include self-care, it includes self-respect, self-kindness, and self-growth. And I wasn't counting, but I hope that was 7. And included, we added a little bonus segment, which is self-forgiveness. Because so many
Mm,
times we struggle with forgiving ourselves for the things we did not know.
that's some good stuff, Shanoria.
Come on now. Yes. Yes. So before we start talking about marriage and bringing anybody else in, baby, I need to get you. Let's just work on you. Because the truth is, the more we get you in a place where you feel secure, confident, whole, treasure treated and adored by you, you're not silencing you. You're not ignoring you. Because even in situations where someone's been unfaithful, much of the time the woman will tell me, and I knew it up front. Well, then, honey, why? Why did you wait until he proved it? If you really knew it, you waited till he proved it. So you taught yourself not to trust yourself. And you got angry when you found out you were right. And you stayed in it longer than you deserve to remain in that. That really has a lot less to do with him and a whole lot to do with you. Why don't you trust you?
So if you have, so I'm just going to give you the scenario. So you
Mhm,
have someone who has cheated, or you think that they have cheated, right?
mhm,
So
mhm,
what do you do? Like if you don't have proof, how do you roll with
mhm,
that?
mhm. So let's talk about that word proof. I don't have proof.
Okay.
There's proof that you don't feel secure in this relationship. There's proof that you don't feel secure. So you would be best served to work on that. We're focusing on the symptom of the issue, which is the cheating, instead of the root cause of the issue, which is something else underneath. Cheating stems from something else. It could be that that person doesn't have the capacity to be in a monogamous relationship. They never did it before. They don't know how to do it. And that doesn't have a whole lot to do with you as the woman. That has everything to do with him as the man and what he hasn't learned. So again, it comes back to you. How did you end up with a man who doesn't have the capacity to love you the way that you are ready to love? What did we not clear up? And the phrase that everyone is associated with me now, because I use it all the time, we didn't pre-qualify this man very well. So it's like, I need proof that he's cheating. No, if the first thing he does is grab his phone in the morning and he's not grabbing you, let's talk about that. Let's talk about
Mm,
where you feel like you're coming on his priority list. The cheating is a distraction. I'm not minimizing it. I'm just saying it's not going to get us anywhere. Let's talk about what's really bothering you. As Erica says, what's grinding your gears? Is it that when somebody else needs something, he hops up and goes and does it? You ask him something and it takes 3 months to do it? Because that's what we can talk about. Is it that he leaves the house and he's gone for 6 hours and doesn't tell you when he's coming back? Because it really doesn't matter what he went to do. What matters is how you feel about his absence. Do you feel empowered to address that? Or do you fear that even if you said something, he wouldn't change a thing? That's what we have to do.
mm,
We're waiting for
mm.
pictures. We're waiting until there's conversations. We're waiting until the other woman is right here in our face. When if we were empowered to address what makes us feel uncomfortable, we could be able to get on some of this stuff before we ever get to that point.
You are so good. I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay, so now,
Well, hold up, because I didn't answer the
okay,
part.
all right, go
I
ahead,
just
go
want to
ahead.
be clear. So we focus on self-love in phase 1, but honey, in phase 2, because this is the part that was grinding my gears back in the day about this premarital counseling, leave you off a cliff. And that is teaching you what marriage truly is. And we start with the covenant, meaning the covenant, Christ, wife, husband, right? Because it's a 3 chord prong that's not easily broken. And a lot of us are getting together, husband, wife, and then just trying to do our thing. And we just, we're going to sit on the pew and all this and that. And then we're wondering why it's not working. But the truth is, I don't need to just trust you. I need to trust the God in you. I don't need to just commit to you. I need to commit to the God in you, because on days when I don't like you, when I can't stand you, when you get on my everlasting nerve and I want to leave you, because let's be real, wives, I don't want to be here no more. I need to know that I promised God, and my fear of the Lord, I'm going to honor what I said to God, and therefore I'm going to honor you. When we don't have that, when we're marrying people who could go to the courthouse or go to Aruba or whatever, and they're like, oh, baby, I love you. I'm going to be with you forever. And then that passed, tick tock goes the clock. And then in a while, What if he don't feel like he want to love you today? Because you don't feel like you want to love your spouse every day. And when there is nothing else keeping you to that commitment, you will really, really find so often people leave irreconcilable differences. But honey, are we pre-qualifying these people? Are we making sure that they believe in something outside of themselves and outside of you so that they can commit to this for life? And do they have the capacity to honor their commitments? Every day people go down the aisle and they say, I'm gonna love, I'm gonna honor, I'm gonna cherish. But like I said earlier, you ain't been monogamous to nobody but your pet dog. You've been out here doing everything, but you're gonna leave me for life. Boy, stop. Stop it, stop it. We need to screen people better to ensure that they have the capacity to love us. Don't just hold people to commitments they don't have the capacity. If I try to hold my 3-year-old to the commitment that he's not gonna scream by the end of the day, baby, that's unkind. That's unkind because I know he's finna scream in 30 minutes if we don't get off this stream. I'm trying to tell you. So it's not loving to hold people to commitments you know they don't have the capacity to fulfill. And that's on you for holding them to that. So then we go into chemistry because a lot of people are confusing chemistry and intimacy. Look, girl, I can drip all day. I'm just saying, you're saying you want to improve your intimacy and you think you do that by sex. No, ma'am. That is not one and the same. Sex is the physical expression of intimacy that was to already have been built. And there's 4 different types of intimacy. And the average woman I engage with, honey, they don't have not one. But they're telling me they're ready to get married. Baby, where? Where, baby? Mm-mm.
What are the 4 types? Tell me the 4 types. I'm curious.
Yes. So the 4 types of intimacy, you have emotional intimacy. That involves being able to tell each other like your deepest fears and your dreams, your disappointments, really being able to confide in each other and feel safe, not judged, not condemned, feeling seen and understood. That's emotional intimacy. And for ladies, that's a big one, right? Then you have intellectual intimacy. That's being comfortable communicating your beliefs, right? Your morals, your thought patterns, maybe even your political affiliations, and being able to have insightful conversation about it. Not arguments, but informed banter, being able to take some things and break it down. And sometimes maybe one of you will even learn something new in these type of conversations. That's intellectual intimacy. We connect intellectually. You'll hear people say, oh, I'm just in love with your brain. I just love how you think. That's intellectual intimacy. And then you have experiential intimacy. I talk about this one a lot on social. Experiential intimacy is born out of me sharing an experience with you, and it's like a private joke. Like no one else knows. So we were there, we experienced it, and I can say a word, and you know what I'm talking about, and we can have a giggle in a public forum, and nobody else knows. And that isn't just limited to doing it together physically. It could be sharing with each other about something that happened, but you're only telling me, you're not telling anybody else because it's the exclusivity for me. I want to have parts of my husband that no one else has. And it makes me feel even more affirmed and special. That's experiential intimacy. And then you have spiritual intimacy. And that's when you have connection and alignment with your person. And you really feel connected outside of this world and you build on that. You will notice those are 4 different types of intimacy: emotional, intellectual, experiential, and spiritual. None of them require you to touch.
That's right. You're right.
You're focusing on the touching, then you're minimizing these other areas that are really for the pillars that keep your love lasting forever.
I love. I'm literally like mind blown right now because I've never thought about any aspect. Of course, there's some aspects of it that you always think about, right?
Mhm,
But
mhm.
then not really thinking about them in the broader sense in which you're talking about. So
Yes.
then go on. What are some other things that you teach them? Because I'm fascinated. I love
She in now, she in now. Oh, so let's see what's some good stuff. So there's so much. First of all, let me just say there is so much, and I will go parched here trying to tell you all of it. And we focus on self-love and we focus on really having an interest in loving yourself before you love someone else. But the whole before Boaz experience, as I think I mentioned, but it's 6 months the fastest you can get through it. It's a sisterhood and it provides support. So one of the things that I help the ladies understand is we were never designed to do life alone. So before Boaz, it's a sisterhood of women who are like-minded, who are not interested in just pointing the fingers at other people, but saying, no, I really want to get to know me. If I'm honest with myself, I have no idea if I really know me for real. Like I know what I do, I know what I'm good at, but do I really know me? That's great. So we really have a sisterhood where we are safe and we can tell our total truth and really work through some things that have hurt us and forgive. And it's not just me, though I'm amazing. It's not just me. It's not just Erica. We have 7 additional coaches that help all of our clients. So because we want you to level up in every area of life. When we say life, love, and money, we're not kidding. So all of our clients work with a personal stylist. They have a year-long membership with a finance coach because I am serious about learning how to make, manage, and multiply your money. So I think you may even know Dr. Roche. Dr. Roche is within Before Boaz as well. Amazing, right? And then we have, now I'm doing off the top of my head, our sex coach, Goody, our sex educator. Because a lot of people out here having sex, but that don't mean they're good at it. For real, like confused. And
so what makes you good at what's back there? Go ahead.
What I mean when I say good at it, I mean connected to your pleasure. So many people confuse sexuality with sensuality. And that's why there's such a pleasure gap between the men getting theirs and the women feeling like they being left unfulfilled. But honey, it's your responsibility to get your orgasm. And I said what I said. And Goody has taught us that there are 18 different orgasms. And baby, I'm here to try to experience every last one of them. I need you to understand and be comfortable with that. Because if you haven't read Song of Solomon, the Lord is okay. Because the husband and the wife cannot defile the bedroom. And we need to get serious about this. When we come together, that is worship. When husband and wife make a beautiful noise, that is worship. Worship all ye, okay? But we have to come together and be able to show up with confidence, control, and stamina in the bedroom. Because if you don't, you'll continue to wonder if those other women are doing something you don't know how to do, and if that's why his eyes keep straying from you. But when you do this preparation up front and you know that you didn't just go in ready to keep the lights off and don't touch me and hurry up and poke it, girl, no, that's not going to do it. So we definitely spice it up. So included in Before Boaz phase 2 for the wives and the wives in waiting, because we teach them. I want you to have this up front. We teach rideology. And that's exactly what it sounds like.
So you teach
rideology. Yes. How to ride. There's too much to the left around here, because so many people think you need to have knees like Megan Thee Stallion to do a good job, and that you or a big girl can't do it, or a skinny girl. No. Goody comes in, and yes, she gets on all fours and teaches literally how to do it, and you can last for much longer than you think. Because girl, ain't nobody gonna throw their back out. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. So we absolutely. Rideology is already, you don't even have to be live. You can do it at night. You don't have to tell nobody you did it. And you can learn all on your own. And then when we get live, you can ask questions. But sensual intelligence, understanding all of your senses, understanding how to connect to them, understanding how to communicate your needs sexually, what you're uncomfortable with, understanding what to try, understanding what products to use. Because, you can think you got that Aquafina flow, but it's different with the ceiling fan on. Might need a little lube there. So I'm just being honest. We see you laughing, but we gotta have these because these fellas want us to wobble and shake it. They trying to get us to drop it like it's hot. They're trying to get us to swing from the poles, and they have chosen us to be their mate. They have said to themselves and to the world and all their family and friends, this is my bride. This is the woman whom I want to love, right? So I know that we want to be honoring ourselves and God and do our best to not have sex before marriage and really save ourselves. And then when we get married, here's again where premarital counseling. Now it's time to bust it wide open. And if you've been sitting here keeping your knees together, when were you supposed to develop the dynamic to be busting it wide open and going all night long? Like, girl, what? Who taught you? Did your mama teach you how to have sex? I bet not. And oral sex, girl, stop. Clutches, pearls.
Shnora, I love you. That's all I gotta say. I love everything about your entire program. So Shnora, where can they find you? Because I got a few nurses that need you. Okay?
Listen, send them my way. Come on over. I say get, run, slide, strut to getandstaymarried.com. It's that simple. Getandstaymarried.com. And there we will be happy to serve you, because I know that nurses don't have a lot of time. Don't have a lot of time to Google and YouTube everything I just said and try to piece it together. So if you really want to level up in all these areas of life, you know it's time to focus on you. You desire and deserve to pour into yourself. That's the best way to connect. And if you're looking for me on social, you can just add Shanoria, and my face ordinarily pops up, but it is at Shanoria, the confident one.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. I love it. I love it. I love it. So thank you, thank you, thank you for showing up today because you are absolutely phenomenal. And I knew that the nurses in our community needed to hear from you. This is super funny. This is super fun. We've had a great time. So thank you for being super fun and showing your true self of who you are for
Yeah.
sure. We will be having the masterclass on how to become a nurse coaching consultant. Actually, 7 ways to monetize as a nurse coaching consultant. We're going to be having that December 7th.
Awesome.
It's free. It's $97 if you want to upgrade. And then, of
Mm.
course, our live event is coming February 24th and 25th.
Come
It's going to
on
be in
now.
Rocky Mount, Rocky Mount, North Carolina. It's going to be the nurse, six-figure nurse CEO conference. And so our goal is in 10 years, we want to make 10,000 nurses, six-figure entrepreneurs, and then 1,000 nurses, millionaires, because we want to increase our economic power, increase the ability for us to impact the world. So you guys have a phenomenal rest of your day, and we'll talk to you later.